What? No, it's not. Listen. You know why I'm slandering you? I just slandered you earlier for how you were producing the podcast. Don't think I forgot about how I had to sit around and wait for you to produce a podcast this morning. I wasn't sitting around waiting for you clipping my toenails. Exactly. Waiting for my producer to produce a podcast. Welcome to the Bamboo Project Podcast, where you can see how we turn our life into a living. So I want to start off by giving a shout out to the Bamboo Project family. I appreciate everyone who tunes in every week. This may be your first episode. For everyone else, this is episode 36. And if this is your first episode, you have a lot of catching up to do. For all the people who don't have YouTube Premium accounts and still want to listen to the podcast, the link for the audio will be in the description below. This podcast is streaming on Anchor, Breaker, Apple Podcasts, Radio Public, Spotify, Castbox, Overcast, and Pocket Cast. Also, for everyone listening to this podcast and not watching it, we have a YouTube channel called, you guessed it, The Bamboo Project, where we have almost 200 videos of cooking tutorials, travel lifestyle vlogs, tips on makeup and hair growth, basketball, and everything us. If you want to see our day-to-day behind the scenes and how we make all these things happen, you can look at us on social media. Mine is DonivanGray, DonivanGray, and my amazing girlfriend, AnetaBurn, AnetaBurn. My Instagram and Twitter are the same thing. So if you're new to the Bamboo Project, then you will not know this, but we have multiple different projects, okay? We have a food project, we have a music project, we have a clothing project, we have a fitness project, we have a sports project, and we have the Bamboo Project podcast, which you are listening to right now. If you want to have a conversation about something going on in your life, you want my advice on it, or you want some helpful tips, you can DM me and we can get on the phone and have a conversation about that. The timestamps for this video and audio will be in the description below. Today's date is November 24th, and it is 1:13 p.m. So on this podcast, we have 4 different segments, okay? We have the life update, which is, as it says in the title, an update about my life, where I go back and recap what happened to me over the last week. Bruh. What you just heard was my iPhone sliding across the table for some strange reason. I don't know. It just be slide. I don't have the case in the house anymore. I just leave the case off, and now it just be sliding all over the place. I just can't keep it in one spot. So the second segment would be episode playback, where I would go back and rehash or recap what I talked about in the last podcast, only because I want to cover something that I might have missed, said incorrectly, or want to go over a little bit more. Third segment would be Donovan's questions, where I come up with a question that I've had over the week that I've been pondering over and pontificating over, okay? And I want to share that question with the family. And the fourth and final segment would be the topics for today. Today's topics are how being insecure helps entertainers. Okay, that's the main topic for today. That's something I've thought about this for years now. Since I'm getting into the kind of entertainment business, and it's something I definitely wanted to touch on. As you guys may or may not know, if you're new to the podcast then you will not know this, but Melissa and I are on the edge of being evicted from where we live right now. Okay. So what that means is, or why that is happening, is because obviously the whole Corona thing, I started working on a bike as a bike messenger because I felt like, you know what? The bike messaging life has changed and I can't make the amount of money I wanted to make before. So I need to find a new way to make money. So right now I'm doing something called wholesaling real estate, which is when I get a house under contract as if I'm going to buy it. And then I transfer the contract to somebody else who has the money, because I don't have the money. And then they purchase it and give me a finder's fee for that house. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to find a way to make some money doing that. And we have videos about how we're doing that on YouTube. So we've been getting letters over the last couple of months about getting evicted, getting emails and things like that, right? But as some other people may know, that it's really hard to evict somebody right now because of the whole pandemic situation going on. Water break. People are coming to the house now and kind of, trying to hurry us up getting evicted, or not getting us evicted, getting us to pay so that we do not get evicted, right? So this is news to me. This is something that happened that I didn't know happened. So I'm not really sure why it happened. So it was really confusing when it did happen. So you're probably wondering what it is that happened, right? So Melissa and I are in the house maybe a couple days ago, making breakfast and things like that, getting ready, just doing our regular activity throughout the day. And the doorbell rings, right? So I'm like, maybe it was a knock. And I'm like, who is that? Because mind you, we don't have anybody coming over. We don't have any guests. People don't just randomly come to our house. So I'm trying to figure out who could possibly have come to our house at 8 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I know it's not the neighbor again because I already told him don't come here, but it could have been him. So I don't know what it is. Maybe I left my keys in the door. So I go to the door, I open it, and there's it seems to be a Caribbean man standing there, right? And he's wearing, he's not wearing a suit or anything. He's wearing maybe a track jacket, like a hat, whatever. He has some glasses and whatnot. Older gentleman. So I'm kind of confused. I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know what he's doing here, but he has a paper in his hand. And normally when somebody comes to my house with a paper in their hand, it's about money, usually about rent. They're like, hey, your apartment 23C, so we see that you owe us money. So you want to pay that? And I'm like, this happened more than once. Like I said, whenever I see somebody come to our house and they have papers in their hand and we don't know who they are, it's usually about rent. So I'm like, hey man, what's going on? He's like, hey, I noticed that you haven't, paid rent in a while, and I wanted to know if you could kind of, give us a little, anything you can to help us with the rent. And I'm just like, I don't have it. Like, if I had the rent to pay, I would pay it, but I don't have money to pay the rent. He's like, oh, can you not donate, but can you give us a little something? So I'm like, I don't have it at all. So I'm being nosy, right? So he has this paper in his hand. I'm just curious. I want to kind of see what everybody else is doing. So I'm looking at the paper, and it's a long. Honestly, now I think about it, the list was very long. Like, it wasn't even, because it was multiple pages of lists, and this building probably has, let me see, 25 floors. You think it goes from what? From A to what in terms of alphabets?
I think it's technically 24 because you don't count the ground floor.
But isn't, oh, but okay, so 24, but okay, 24, and then how many apartments you think are on the floor? I think it's from A to, is it O? I feel like it might be like O. So let's say that's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. It's about 15. That's 15, huh?
360.
So it's about 300 plus people in this apartment, right? So I'm looking at the list, and each page probably holds about, I would probably say 30 to 40 names on the list. And all the names on the list are people who are not paying rent or who owe money. Now, we owe probably right now 14,000 or 17,000, something in that range. I'm not sure the exact number. And somebody else I saw on that list owed $26,000. And a lot of people owe like 4,000, 3,000, a lot of, a couple 1,000s and things like that. Now, like I said, I only saw the first page, and he had folded it over already, and then there was about 2 more pages underneath that, and he was walking our hallway, so somebody else on our floor did not pay rent. So I just wanted to see who's not paying rent. So he's saying to me, hey, can you give us a little something? I'm thinking, I already said I don't have anything. Now, this is something that I was not prepared for him to tell me. He said that the cleaning crew would be fired if people don't pay their rent. And I was like, oh, shit. So like I said, I don't know who this guy is. So it seems to me that he was probably somebody that maybe was the head of the cleaning crew. Maybe he somehow is the go-between or the conduit between the people who own the building and the cleaning crew. I'm not sure who he is. He's not the building manager. I just don't know who this guy is. But he was telling me that they barely made it by last month because people weren't paying rent. So they weren't getting paid for their job. So like I said, that's kind of crazy to me. Now that I think about it, I mean, I don't really leave the house that much, so maybe that's why. But I don't really see them cleaning as much. I see Jet a lot, but I haven't seen the other guy in a minute. I see the Spanish guy. I haven't seen the black guy. You seen him recently? I haven't seen either one of the black guys that normally work here, that do the cleaning in the building.
I saw one of them. The other one I haven't seen.
Which one did you see?
The older one.
Yeah, and that's that. When we first got here, there was about 3. It was the Spanish guy. And then, I guess it was Haitian, I think, right? And then there was the older guy. So that's 3. I think there was one more guy too. But either way, the guy was telling me that they weren't going to get paid, and they would have to be laid off. And they barely made it by last month because I guess people paid the rent. So I'm not sure how that goes in the future. Maybe they're going to have to hire somebody new to pay the rent. And I also think it's kind of strange that they would have this guy come to people's apartments to collect rent. I'm assuming what probably happened was, this is my guess. they would say, hey, we're not getting paid. And the people probably say, hey, we don't have the money to pay you because we aren't getting money for rent. So they said, well, what do you want us to do? And they said, well, we can't pay you. So they probably said, listen, here's people that owe rent. Here's their apartment number. If you want to go to each one of them and find out if they can pay, you should probably do that because we can't do anything else about it. We don't have any legal standing to go and make them pay rent. We just can't do that. So you can go to door if you want to and find out if they can pay rent or not. But we actually, as the building management, can't do that for you. So I think that's what happened. So that was kind of interesting. Now, also today, that was a couple of days ago. So today we got something in the mail from the Kings County and Queens County. And it's pretty much saying that, I'm going to read it to you guys 1 second. Okay, so this is what the letter I got today says. Well, obviously, I'm not on the lease because they only send letters to Melissa, which is fine because I don't get evicted. My girlfriend's gonna get evicted, not me. So this says that, read this: notice to tenants to answer. Okay, it says court records show that your landlord started a case against you for non-payment of rent. You have the right to a trial, but first you must answer the petition under Governor Cuomo's executive order 202.72. You may have more time to answer the petition, but it is important that you answer as soon as possible so that you are not held in default and lose your right to trial. You can answer in one of three ways, okay? These are the three ways you can answer. Ooh, Jesus. Fuck it. Like I just tore something. Number one, e-file an answer, okay? Number two, we can give an oral answer over the phone. Or number three, we can answer in person at the courthouse, okay? That's one of the pages. Now, the other page says that it gives it says answer in writing and verification. It gives us 21 different things we can write as to why we did not pay rent. Now, under number 13 and 14, it says pandemic emergency. Okay. So it says I or someone in my family or house have experienced hard times during the COVID-19 state of emergency. I or someone in my house has sent a copy of the Center for Disease Control and Prevention declaration statement to my landlord. We did number 14 and I've experienced number 13. We've both been through number 13. So there's that. So, I mean, like I said, we're going to send this back. And honestly, we had already sent that CDC letter. If you don't know, the CDC has sent out a letter saying that we don't have to pay rent until the end of the year. That's not true. That we will not be evicted until the end of the year during this whole crisis situation, right? So what was I saying? So yeah, so we sent that in. The lady responded and said, okay, you have until, to January 1st, which is fine. It buys us some time legally and we're fine, which is why we have to get a deal wholesaling very quickly, because at least if we know if we can get one deal, we can get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we can get 10 deals. All our problems will be gone. $100,000, all our problems are completely solved. Honestly, only $40,000 we need to solve all of our problems, and it will be good, clear, free. And we're going to, like I said, we're going to start putting out so much content. We're going to start doing a lot of this is going to change. 4 deals. We're 4 deals away. That's it. We're 4 deals away. That's all we need. And we'll be fine. So, stay tuned. Like I said, wholesaling videos is on YouTube if you want to see how we're doing that. And our update right now is 6 weeks in, no deals, being very close, getting closer and closer. I want to admit we're getting closer. It's not like we're in the dark. We're definitely getting closer to getting a deal. So that is the update as far as the eviction thing is going. This kind of leads into my next topic too. This comes to the downside of being dependable, right? Because I feel like Melissa sees me as dependable. And the problem with that is I feel as though it eases her stress about things that we have to go through. So I think that she forgets that we're kind of in a situation where we might get evicted. Like we might not be living here. Things could get really bad. And I feel like she inherently or subconsciously thinks that I will solve the problem. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do my best to solve the problem. But I feel like you should have the urgency of I can't do this, but I can't do that at all. And if we both have the urgency, I feel like then the problem will get solved. Do you agree with this statement? You do? Okay. She said yes. So that the reason why I say it's a downside is because I'm not a superhero. I'm not God or anything like that. Right. I try my hardest to do things I can do. I think I work very hard. I try and work very smart, but I'm not perfect. So when I say that, it means that there are days that let's say I'm operating at 98%, right? People listening probably understand what I'm talking about. You operate at 98%, right? And those 2%, whatever those 2% whatever that is, you just not overcoming it. Maybe because you're human, you're tired. Maybe you want to watch TV. Maybe you want to jerk off. I don't know if you want to smoke weed. Whoever knows whatever that thing is, right? So what I would need, and what other people listening would also probably need, is somebody who can cover that 2%. Because it's like, okay, I got us 90% of the way, but I need you to do 2% of that work to get to the 100%. So I think that now that those numbers are arbitrary, depending on who you're with, you can kind of dictate what those numbers would be. But if the other person is looking at you like, oh, we got 98%, you're going to carry the rest of the way, right? It's like, I got it to 98. Like, I'm tired. I don't want to walk anymore. And it's like, well, we already at 98. So I guess we just going to have to wait till you're not tired no more, get to 100. And it's like, it becomes very tiring and stressful to have to carry everything all the way to the end, right? It becomes very tiring. But it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because do you want to be a person that's dependable, or do you want to be somebody that people don't depend on? Like, people can't rely on you, people can't depend on you, people don't see you as what's the other word? It's not trustworthy. It's another word like that. Useful. Useful. I think it's useful. I think that's the word. Might be useful. But if people don't see you as useful, dependable, or reliable, they can't rely on you. You're useless, and they can depend on you. Now, what kind of person wants to be those three things? So my brain's been trying to figure out how that kind of fits into just, I guess, being a human. Is that what people consider being a man? And these are the things that I don't think that other people have to worry about. Now, there was a tweet that Melissa saw today, which I saw yesterday, which was kind of funny, is that what was it about the men and being scared? What was it? It was something along the lines of men can't be scared of anything. It was something like that. I can't remember. Huh?
Boyfriends.
Yeah, it was boyfriends. But what is it? What was the specific wording? Because it was something along those lines.
It's hard. You have to pretend like.
Oh yeah, right. It was right. Being a boyfriend is hard because you have to pretend like you're not afraid of anybody, right? And this is one of the things that I'm always trying to figure out. Does it make me a weak man because I think that I shouldn't be this superhero, or does it make me a human being? Because every girl wants a guy who's not afraid of nothing. That's just life. If you had to ask a girl to choose between a guy who's afraid of things and a guy who's not, they're gonna say, I want a guy who's not afraid of things. But it's like, is that humanly possible? Maybe not afraid, not the best word, but just they want a guy that has no shortcomings, right? That's what they would prefer. And I don't think that a lot of, let me see if I can say that correctly. I was going to say that I don't think that a lot of women take into account that men have to be, what's the word? They have to be visibly strong, right? I don't think that they see that. I think that women see it as, okay, you're strong. And this goes back to a conversation me and Melissa have had before about girls hitting guys, where it's like, if a girl punches a guy and the guy does not fold or make a sound or seem hurt, they think he's not hurt. And I think it goes into to everyday life. If a girl sees a guy, he's not crying and he's not whining and complaining, then it's like, oh, he's perfectly fine. And I don't really know who's that on as a guy or a girl, because if I talk to people for old heads, they will say, listen, that's just part of being a guy. Girls just not going to understand that. That's part of being a boyfriend or the man relationship. You have to just deal with that. But then if you look at it from a human perspective, it's like, okay, I would assume that both people should be able to understand that, look, I know that you cannot carry everything by yourself. That's just not how life works. And funny enough, this is why I think that I'm going to get to this later, which is why I think a lot of entertainers cheat, or celebrities and people who have money cheat for this exact reason, because they are told to carry everything by themselves. And honestly, that might be why girls don't care to cheat. They're like, listen, you want to cheat? You can do all the work. By all means, go and cheat. And a lot of girls will say, well, I don't want my guy to cheat. But then a guy cheats and they kind of go, well, I'm still taken care of. Actually, I seen a tweet yesterday where somebody said, it was a tweet about Sierra and Russell Wilson. And they said, all he does is keep her happy, rich, and pregnant. And laughing, something like that, right? And I'm like, that's every girl's dream. Every girl's dream would love to just be able to be chilling, have babies, take care of the babies, be laughing, have money, and do whatever they want to do. Like that's just what everybody want to do. And like I said earlier, it goes back to the fact of, is that a normal thing for a man-female relationship, as far as just a guy having to do that, or is that a standard that we set up that is not attainable? Because every guy that I know that has to deal with that, either one ends up resenting the woman and cheating on her, or two, I mean, he just leaves. Like you know what, I don't want to deal with this or anything like that. So like I said, I don't really know how attainable that is or how sustainable it is. I think it's attainable, but it's not sustainable. I think you can do it for a short period of time, but at one point you're gonna break, and you're probably gonna hate her and resent her and beat her, or you're gonna be like, no, I'm just gonna cheat and do something else, go fuck somebody else and have babies somewhere else. Because a lot of people have heard this before. This is like a, I guess we call it a stereotype, where the dude will leave and fuck another girl because it's less work. Like it's funny because she will baby him, I guess. Whereas like I said earlier, it's that 98.2%. He's being the man 98%, but the last 2% he wants that girl that he's cheating with to baby him. And I don't think that girls are able to compartmentalize that structure of where 98% of the time you're gonna be in charge and 2% of the time I'm gonna be in charge. And then be in charge in the sense of, because it comes also down to, I guess, the male ego, where the guy wants to be able to sit down and relax and be like, okay, you got this part. I'm gonna go to sleep. If we driving a long distance, I'm gonna take a nap. You drive the rest, and I'm gonna be sure that when I wake up, you're not gonna be like, yeah, you bitch, you was over there sleeping in the car while I was driving. Because nobody want to hear that. Because that's when the guy cheats, and nobody's like. And I think that's what ends up happening when the girl ends up in that situation. That is when they decide that they want to talk down on the guy. Now, one thing I talked to Melissa about this before too is, again, I don't know if this is necessarily a female thing. It could be. I think it could just be a human thing. But I'm gonna drink some water before I say this part. Hold on. Okay. So let me know if you remember this conversation I said before. That when you feel like you are doing things, like let's say you have a list of things to do that you wrote down in your book, right? And you feel like you're accomplishing those things, but then you see me not doing anything. How does that make you feel? She's smiling. I'm listening. Yeah.
Upset.
Okay. Why do you feel upset?
Because I feel like I'm doing all the work and not doing anything.
Okay. So, you want to elaborate on that? You want to go any deeper, or you want to leave it at that?
Because it's like, yes, I feel upset. I feel like kind of spiteful. It's like, look at him over there smiling and shit when I'm doing this, and that. So yeah. Okay.
So what you heard, I would say, is a very accurate representation of how women feel when they are doing work. And the funny thing about it is that I don't think she feels like that if I'm doing work. I don't think she's looking at me like, what the fuck is he doing over here doing work and shit while I'm not doing work? Fuck out of here. She's not spiteful. She's not, honestly, dude, I don't even know what she thinks about it. What, you making the face? Okay. Right. I don't even think that she thinks about it. She's just like, oh, I'm just happy. I'm existing. I'm living. Like, oh, this is fun. And I think I don't think also another thing too is when she is doing that work, whatever percentage that it is in your relationship that you're with somebody, I don't think that she asks her or says to herself, yeah, I'm doing this, but normally this would happen, or normally that would happen, or that other person did this yesterday, or they did that yesterday, or they're doing this today. They only think of, I'm doing work right now. I don't like doing work right now, and you're not doing work right now. You should also be doing work because I'm doing work. Did this sound
accurate? It's not all the time that I feel like that happens. It's more so I feel like, I guess, one of those days where it's like I feel like I'm doing a lot, more or less. And I don't want to do what I'm doing.
Yeah, and so this goes back to what I was talking about earlier with the 98 to 2%, where, and like I said, it's also different for everybody depending on whatever number your relationship is. So this is, I get the feeling also. Like, I'm not saying everybody doesn't get I think everybody gets the feeling, but I think that, I don't even know. People have to tell me if this is true or not. But when it happens to me, I'm able to go, I know this feeling is not realistic. Like it's not an accurate representation of what's actually happening in real life. And I know that because I can start jotting off in my head, what is it that Melissa does for me specifically? I'm like, okay, let's say I feel like I'm doing a lot. I'll go, okay, Well, Melissa is laying in the bed. Well, why is she laying in the bed? Well, she went to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning because she was editing a video. She was cleaning. She was doing her hair. Then she was, reading about or learning about, skin, things like that. So once I start doing those things, I go, okay, I understand. I think that other people will tend to instantly go, nah, you should be doing more stuff. Like their brain goes to, I'm not going to fix me. Like I'm not going to internally figure out why I'm feeling like this. I'm going to go and point at you and say, you're the issue. So, and like I said, I get the feeling too. Now, the other thing on the flip side of that is I will do that same assessment and go, Melissa, you ain't doing nothing. You haven't been doing nothing for 6 days. Like I feel like I've been doing this. I've been washing dishes every day for 3 days. And like I said, normally I'll let it play out a couple of days and see what's going on. I'm like, all right, I wash dishes every day and I cook 3 days in a row. I'm cleaning up the house. You haven't cleaned the house and you're, playing video games or playing this and playing that. I'm like, okay, it'll be 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. I'm like, all right, it's the fourth day now. And I feel like there's things that should have been done that aren't done. And that's when I'll address it. But like I said before, I think that on the other side of that, it comes down to today. I feel like I'm busy and you should be busy too. So one thing, I guess that kind of covers the other thing I want to touch on as far as, that pretty much covers that part of it. So I guess I'm curious too, if anybody else experiences that and how do other people cope with that? Because I guess I don't think it's necessarily just a male female thing, but I don't know what causes somebody to do those things, not to do those things. One thing I do know is that if both people are doing a lot of work all the time, then that doesn't really happen as much.
I think it's like a sense of fairness. Like it's not fair because I also feel like if I'm doing stuff and I look over at you and you're doing stuff, it kind of like it's like a.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the thing is about that is if you're doing something and I take a nap because I just finished doing something, I don't know if that situation would feel the same because you might look over me and I'm sleeping, but it's like I was doing something earlier, so now when you look at me, I'm not working. Type of situation. So I guess I think it might come down to an individual thing. What?
I think that only really happens too. Like I said earlier, when you don't want to do the thing that you're doing, and when you're kind of like a bit distracted or trying to, because I know that myself, whenever I feel overwhelmed, I'll try to start 3 different tasks at once, kind of, or bounce around. Like, okay, I'm gonna start this, and like halfway through it, I'm like, I don't want to do this no more. Okay, I'm gonna do something else that's still productive, but I don't want to do that either. So I feel like if I'm not focusing, because if you're focusing on what you're doing, you're not really gonna look at the other person.
Yeah. I think that's partly true. I think because it's not about if you're focusing on what you're doing, it's do you want to do what you're doing? Because one thing I also noticed is that, what was I gonna say? I normally will get like that if I have to drag myself. I don't know if that's true either. Yeah, if I'm dragging myself to do something that I don't want to do, is normally when I get like that. So.
And then obviously there's a time when the person actually isn't doing it.
Yeah. So like I said, it's mostly things I don't want to have to do that I do not want to do. So, there's that. I guess I'm curious what other people think about that. Also, the Bamboo Project sports, it's going pretty well. The coach has allowed me to play for free at the gym, which is great. I was hoping that this happened because, like I said before, I want to add value to people. And I feel like because I am recording the games and posting them on YouTube, that is adding value to him. He can use those videos for other people who will come to the gym, want to watch, people who will come to the gym because they want to get recorded, people who might want to be trying out for a college team or something like that, or an overseas team. They have footage or just things of them just practicing, seeing how they move when they're playing basketball. So because I was able to add that value to him and the people there, he said, you know what, don't worry about it. $15. Don't worry about it. You don't have to pay it. So there's that. And what else? Oh, as long as I'm recording it, so Melissa comes, she doesn't have to pay. She records it. I get to play for free. Everybody wins. It's a win-win for everybody. I get content. He gets videos. Everybody, it's good. So it was something else. Okay, so right. So I have a friend, right? Now, this is something that I'm curious about. And I don't know if it's a me thing. I don't know why when it happened, I didn't feel very comfortable about it happening. So pretty much I have a friend who is he's into real estate, right? And we play basketball. So I was like, "Hey, you want to come play basketball with us at the thing, blah 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 blah." So he was like at the gym. He was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll come." And I think I was telling him that the guy might have hooked me up. I think I told him the guy hooked me up that I don't have to pay. Oh, he was asking me, when do I have to pay it? I was telling him like I don't have to pay because the guy told me if I'm recording, I'm good. So then when I said that, he was asking me or suggesting that I pay for him to go to the gym when he goes. Now, when it happened, I'm like, I'll pay half of it. Like I'll consider. I told him I'll think about it and I'll get back to him. He's like, "What? You gonna get back to me? Oh man, what?" So I'm like, my brain didn't understand why I felt type of way about that. I'm not sure why, because he has offered to put me on deals with him, real estate deals, and it's not really. He didn't have to do that. And he's driven me to other states because looking for real estate and stuff. So I don't understand why my brain and it's only $7.50. I don't really. It's not an issue, but for some reason when it happened, I'm always just kind of like, I don't know. Now that could be because I'm operating from a place of scarcity because I don't have money coming in. So I'm pretty sure if I had money coming in, I wouldn't mind paying that because when we went out, I paid for lunch for him before. So I don't mind doing the thing, but for some strange reason, that just didn't sit right with me. I was like, I don't know, but I would still pay for it. It just, I don't know why that interaction when it happened, I was just like, I'm gonna get back to you. So I just want to put it out there for the future if it does come up again. Or also I'm putting it out there because I want to know how in the future I will react to situations similar to this when I have money, when I don't have money, or when something similar like this arises. And so for the last couple days, or honestly weeks now, Melissa has finally reached Naruto Shippuden. Okay, how do you feel about Naruto Shippuden?
Oh shit, that shit crazy.
So she seems like she likes Naruto Shippuden. What do you think about the first Naruto?
I think Naruto is, I fuck with it because it gave me really like the backstory behind the characters.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was slower. I don't think I was into it as much.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can't stop myself from watching Shippuden. So that's my kind of, and I'm like listening to you right now. I'm like, is Donovan shading me because I've been watching Naruto? So,
no.
But yeah, I think that it's amazing, more or less, to have both, because when they say little things in Shippuden, I know why they say it. Like I instantly have the scene in my head or whatever. Like something bad about to happen. So Tsunade checked to see if she won the ticket for gambling. And I know exactly what that means. She won. I'm like, oh shit. She won. So it's like little stuff like that, and I know why.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even just like this person don't like blue. Like I know why you don't like blue. So I'm excited to see the rest of Shippuden and how everything plays out.
Okay. So I was trying to have Melissa get her to watch this Naruto for mad long now. I was like, listen, I think it's the greatest anime of all time. The reason why I say that is because of the amount of episodes that there are, and because of, she hasn't even gotten to what makes Naruto Shippuden great yet, which is crazy. But like she also said, the backstory, because for me personally, I grew up with the characters. When I was younger, you grow up watching shows. You're like, oh wow, this is crazy. And you're 11, 12 years old. Then you start getting older and you start seeing them grow. Now Naruto, even like she said, it was even rewatching it with her. I'm like, damn, there's a lot of episodes that have to do nothing with nothing. Like, it's just a lot of episodes about nothing. That's pretty much, it's like a lot of Wale episodes. And I'm listening to it or watching it, and I'm like, yeah, this is rough to get through all the way to Shippuden. But we got there, right? So, she was watching on the bus, going to the basketball game to record the game. She be watching it. She be watching Shippuden. Shippuden is fire. It is fire. And like I said, there's like, she's getting real. So I just think it is, fun that she's watching. That's why, like I said, one of my favorite shows of all time. And I think it's good to have my girlfriend watching it also, and also that she enjoys it. Because I've heard certain people will have other people watch shows that they don't want to watch, and they'll be like, I guess I'll watch because I love you. But I think it's good that she enjoys the show. What's another thing too? The wholesale I already talked about. The products you cannot stop. Oh, right. That's another thing too I want to touch on for a life update. So Melissa was reading something. How much time are we at?
I missed the intro, but for this segment we're at 30.
Okay. So, okay. Melissa was looking at a video maybe on Instagram, something like that. And she was pretty much saying that, or the person was saying that they bought this product for their skin, right? And the product says that, or she said that as soon as you stop using the product, it doesn't work anymore. Now, I just want anybody listening to this, right, to understand that when you hear stuff like that, that's a very big red flag. That's almost similar to having a medicine, or is it not a medicine? What do they call the other ones? It's not a cure. What's the opposite of a cure?
Oh, like a Band-Aid?
Yeah, but there's another word for it. There's a cure, and then they give you something. Like what do they give you for treatment? They have a treatment for it, right? Now, I think that's what they call for cancer and stuff like that. And what that means is that they want to keep you hooked on forever, right? A lot of things are like that. They don't actually satisfy you. They just kind of keep bringing you back. Now, you may think like, oh, what's wrong with that? That's normal. That's just kind of how everybody does business, right? Now, I don't think that business should be run like that. If I buy a product that's supposed to clear my face, then when I stop using it, my face shouldn't automatically start breaking out again. Because what that tells me is that you didn't actually solve the problem that's causing me to have these breakouts on my face. All you did was you stopped it from showing. You pretty much took the dust and put it under the rug. That's all you did. So yes, my face is still dirty, but all you did was hide the reason why it's dirty. So now when you remove the rug, or in this case, the particular ointment that the person is using, everything comes back. Now, a lot of people feel like this with food, with a lot of types of different medicines. People feel like this with different, like I guess pills and things like creatine, things like that, right? Me personally, if I'm eating something or using something and I stop using it, I shouldn't automatically be like, if I don't eat that shit, it's over for me. Like I can't, I'm about to die if I don't use this Provision? Proactive, because Melissa told me about it. Other people told me about Proactive, where it's just like Proactive works, right? Now, I don't know the ingredients and the how they actually make it work, but I do know that if you stop using that shit, you instantly break out. You like, it's almost instantaneously, from what I've heard, that people say, yeah, I need to put it back on my face again. And that pretty much says that, listen, obviously this thing does not do what you need it to do. What you need to do is figure out, why are you breaking out? Not trying to cover it up. Just figure out, hey, I'm breaking out because I'm eating red meat, or because I'm sleeping on a dirty pillow, or because I didn't shower, or because I'm putting oil on my face and my face is dirty. Whatever the case is, you need to figure that out, because once you do that, you don't have to put anything on your face but water. You can just put water on your face and maybe like a moisturizer and you're fine. That's literally all you need for your face. Honestly, I don't even wash my face like that, to be completely honest. I don't really get pimples. The only time I get pimples is when I probably what do you call it?
When you eat certain beverages.
You're right. When I eat certain types of food, usually usually, honestly, if I eat foods that have a lot of oil.
Yeah, I think it's like
Yeah.
fast food, really.
Yeah, when I eat food that I feel like, because I had a pimple the other day on my forehead, and I had like burgers. I feel like I put a lot of oil in it, and I might have something else too.
Oh, yeah, you put them. Yeah.
So right, so there's that, and I feel like that's normally like when I will get a pimple. So people need to understand, like, yo, a lot of things you have wrong with you, you're going to the store to get these things fixed. They're only gonna give you something so you can come back and keep buying that thing. And like I said earlier, you may think that that's normal, but all you're doing is you're fucking up your body more, because you're not actually solving the problem that your body has that's causing it to break out, or to feel aches and pains, or to have rashes, or to have your hair falling out. You're like, oh my God, my hair's falling out. Put on a wig. It's like, your body's communicating to you. Your body is saying, hey, there's a problem here. And you're like, shut the fuck up. Put this wig on. You're like, hey, there's a problem here. You got this rash. Put on a long sleeve shirt. You're like, you can't walk. It's like, well, figure something else out. Get a crutch. And it's just like I said, if you sprain your ankle, your body is in pain to let you know something is wrong. You don't just get in a wheelchair, or you have to figure out why your ankle hurts. So I just feel like that's something that I really see a lot of, and annoys me whenever I hear that. Not annoys me, but it's just like a trigger. I go, okay, whenever I hear somebody say, yeah, man, when I stopped using it, I instantly broke out. It's like, red flag, don't use that no more. Get something else. That's not good for you. Get something else. Just stop using that. So that's it for the life update. Last thing life update I wanted to touch on is the wholesaling thing. Did I touch on that? Nah, it's on the YouTube video, so y'all can listen to it on there. So early this morning, I was listening to last week's episode of the podcast, right? In the beginning, I'm like, this intro is long as fuck. I'm not really liking the intro. It's taking really long. I feel like I'm saying things I don't need to be saying in it. It's just a very long intro. Might have been like 3 to 5 minutes or something like that. That's just long. So as you may notice today, I spoke a little bit faster through the intro. I kind of left out things that I don't think should have been said or needed to be said. And then what else? Yeah, I just think the intro was kind of slow. My energy just didn't feel right when I listened to it. But as I got through it, this is episode number 35 from last week. I'm like, wow, this is actually a good, like, I enjoyed listening to the podcast. Like, and I think that's crazy to me, because that's like a big milestone for me in a sense where I'm like, I just enjoy, like, I was listening to it to go, when I went to downstairs to get the mail, and then I was taking a shower listening to it. I was laughing in the shower listening to it. Mind you, it's me just talking, so I already know what I'm gonna say, but it's still funny when I hear it. And I think it's kind of cool too, because now in a couple years from now, I'm gonna look back on these episodes and listen to them, and I'll be able to kind of document and remember where I was, what I was doing. You know, I remember my crazy neighbor who's always coming to my house asking for shit when I get my new penthouse. I'm gonna come back and remember, like, yeah, I had this crazy ass neighbor who's always come to my house talking about some, hey man, can I get your Wi-Fi password? Or hey man, I got a cat. Can you want to watch my cat for me? Hey man, I got this drug dealer boyfriend / prostitute / grinder person in my house. Do you want to help me? I'm like, bruh, no, I'm good. So I think it's funny that I actually, like, it was just very enjoyable. And I listened to it. I was eating breakfast with Melissa, and we was talking about the podcast. It felt like we were listening to it. Well, I felt like I was listening to a podcast that wasn't my podcast, but we were still talking about it. Like we were talking about it like it was a podcast that we were listening to. So for me, that's a milestone. So I'm still keep trying to get better to make it to a point where I'm like, wow, everybody else feels the same way that I feel about the podcast. I did not explain grasping for straws last week and where that came from. So I was in a chat room on Clubhouse, and I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, cause I was asking people. I was asking people about the Corona shit, and I was just like, "Yeah, man, how do y'all feel about Corona? Like, you know, one of the rooms was titled "How Has COVID Affected Your Relationship?" Right, and people were like, "Yeah, you're trying to figure out how to work through it, and we haven't, we had to take a break. We haven't talked for a while." And I had to ask them, because I'm always curious about the Corona shit, because I'm like, okay, how do you guys live your life in a situation where you're so scared of it? Like, how do you operate under this kind of fear? Because I already know that operating under fear under any circumstance in your life can be debilitating. But to have to operate it under that everywhere you go, that there's this secret disease just floating around in the air that could quote unquote kill you. Like, it's just, how do you operate like that? Because I don't believe that it's that deadly. So it doesn't really affect my life. It only affects me when I go outside and I see other people who are like acting crazy with it. So they were like, "Oh, I can't believe, are you telling me you don't want to wear a mask?" And I'm like, I mean, if I'm by myself, I don't wear a mask, and I don't understand why people are so insistent on it. I'm like, what do y'all think is going to happen? Like, are y'all taking the vaccine? Like, y'all think y'all trust it? And I was saying that, it was an example that, that's the other thing too. It was an example that I gave about, it was about lying. It was that girl who was saying that, I don't know if I said it on the podcast. I don't think I did. I had said to her that I'm gonna get some context. Okay, let me take a second. The context is, I'm in Clubhouse. Okay, Melissa did a Clubhouse before, like one of the rooms, like a day or two before, and she was asking people what their red flags are in relationships. One girl said that her red flags was half truth, or she asking? Yeah, it was half truth, right? So
no, it was her, like, she did that to somebody else. She told someone else a half truth.
Yeah,
and he said that was his red flag.
Right. Okay. So now she's in this other room with me, and I didn't know. I had a feeling that it was her. I think by her name or what she had said in the room. So when she was telling her story, I'm like, "Yo, you a liar. Like, that's lying." She was like, "Oh, it's not really lying." I'm like, you were trying to deceive him by not telling him the answer to the question that he asked you. she was like, well, I don't feel, well, not necessarily her, all the other girls in the room who were all these pro activists, woke black women who probably went to HBCUs, who might, I don't even know. I hate those kind of people. They're very annoying. So they're like, no, you can't, no guy has to know how many bodies you had. And then you had that pick me dude who's like, I would never ask a girl how many bodies she had. I would never do something like that. I would never. And I feel like I talked about this already. And then you had another person who was grandstanding in there who was just like, he would be talking for mad long. He was like, think of like Martin Luther King Jr., but like if he was, I was gonna say stupid.
I knew you were.
But like, because this is my point, right? He's doing that fake philosophical woke talk. So he's using words like, listen, man, us people have to come together and understand that in the grand scheme of the world, we are only one iota on a dot of the universe, right? He's doing that kind of shit. So everybody is not saying nothing to him. And mind you, the conversation is about whether or not this is a half truth and if it's a lie or not. He's going off into all types of crazy, abstract thoughts about this shit. And I'm like, bro, you're not even saying nothing no more. Like, at this point, it's just getting ridiculous. So all the girls are like, oh, it's not a half. All the girls are saying that it's not a half truth if she don't want to tell him. It's okay that she don't want to tell him, and she should be able to grow. I definitely talked about this before, I think, and she should be able to grow into her full truth, and that means that if she's talking to a guy, she should be able to divulge what she wants as she wants to divulge it, even though he asked the question, right? So I said, okay. So the logic I'm hearing is, it is okay to not tell the full truth because you have the authority, or no, you have the runway to expand on your truth into the future. So it's okay to not tell the whole truth right now. I'm saying, okay. So I said, I want to clarify, guys. I asked the question to these women. I said, okay. So if a guy comes to you, right, and he says, I have a job, right? They're like, okay. Then y'all go out, y'all start talking and dating, and then you find out that he has job interviews. Does that count as a lie or a half truth? No, you grasping for straws. That's not the same. Everybody jumped down my throat. You can't use that. That's not an example. I'm like, but technically, he does have a job at some point, right? Like, he will at some point have a job. I'm assuming that's what that means. And they're like, no, you can't say that. When it's about money and finance, it's different. Now, I chose this thing specifically because I know how women are when it comes to money. Because I'm like, how would y'all feel if a guy tell a half truth about his finances? Y'all not gonna like that shit. If he starts saying shit like, I have $100,000 and he don't really have it, that's a lie. Whether he has it, had it, doesn't have it, thinks he's gonna have it, he don't have $100,000. But it's different when it's money involved. When it's a girl talking about how many bodies she got, then it's, well, that's none of your business, and you shouldn't ask me, and no man should have to ask that question. And I just think it's funny. So that's where that term grasping for straws comes from, because, like I said, women, not for whatever reason, I know exactly why. When it comes to money, that's when the real truth comes out. You want to find out the truth about a woman, ask them, substitute out whatever you're talking about logically and add money into it. See if they feel the same way. I guarantee their whole mindset change. They'll be like, wait a minute, time out. So you telling me that you don't have any money, and you telling me that you're not gonna have any money, and you're not planning on getting any money? Nah, I can't do it. I'm good. So, I want to look this up too. Ice etiquette. I never looked it up the other day, so I want to find out how often should somebody clean their ice. How often? I wonder if this has fur on it or something. Because I feel like my nose is acting up. How often? Sheesh. How often should you clean your ice? Should you clean your ice? Your ice tray. Okay. Okay, so this says that this is how often does a commercial ice machine need to be cleaned? This says the simple answer is that your commercial ice machine needs to be cleaned at least. What do you think it is?
Once every 6 months?
Yep, perfect. Once every. Oh, I feel like that's cheated because you work in a thing. I don't trust you. Nah, see, nope, that's not fair. Because you worked at a place that has these ice machines, and you might know that.
Every week, so.
Well, still, I need somebody that had no reference of ice trace. Let me see.
Oh, so the not when I get the answer right.
Nope, exactly. Nah, I need to get it wrong. Like I think I don't know if I told you this. So I was on what's that show called? Family Feud, right? I was auditioning for Family Feud, and when I was auditioning for Family Feud, it was me. I don't think Steve Harvey was there. He definitely wasn't there. We were just doing questions. Right? Mind you, we got everything right. We beat other people. We beat the other people. The reason why we did not get on the show is because one, we got too many answers right. That's number one. Number two is when you get an answer wrong or when you don't know an answer, they want you to just say anything. So if they ask you, okay, how many people do you think clean an ice tray once a week, right? And you go, Blue Bananas. They love that shit. They want you to do stupid shit like that. But you cannot not say anything because they want you. I mean, it's entertainment. So for the most part, how I view it, they want you to look stupid on television because that's funny to other people. People will watch that. So when I'm talking to Melissa, I need Melissa to say Blue Bananas because if she don't say Blue Bananas, then people don't want to hear that. People want to hear her say the crazy answers. She can't be on the money talking about something one every 6 months. How do you know exactly the number and time of cleaning a commercial ice tray? Like, who knows that? Who guesses that? I can ask Melissa the other craziest thing. Melissa, how much think a bag of potato chips cost? $100? I'd be like, Melissa, $100? How often do you think you should clean a commercial ice tray? Once every 6 months, and only if it's made from Bartlett. And be like, Melissa, how did you figure that shit out? If I'm ever asking Melissa a question about numbers, if I ever ask her anything about numbers, she give me the craziest. The other day, she's talking to her friend, right? Melissa talking to her friend the other day. She told her friend that when she first met me, she thought I was 6'5". She thought I was 6'5", right? Now, I'm 5'11" and 3/4. Okay.
You 6 feet.
She loves saying I'm 6 feet. You know I'm not. I'm 5'11" and 3/4. Okay, that's how tall I am. Now, the funny thing is, right? 6'5" is very, very, very tall compared to somebody's 5'11", 6 and 3/4. Right? Melissa looked at me and go, 6'5". Definitely, he's definitely 6'5". I've asked Melissa questions like, "Hey, how much do you think this house costs?" It'd be a 1-bedroom. $16 million. I'm like, how did we? I'd be like, my whole thing is okay. My thing is not even the fact that the numbers are so off. It'd be where you get these numbers from. Like I don't like if you told me what I'm going based off New York prices and a New York studio is $8 million. I'm like, okay, where are you getting these numbers from? I don't know. I just threw that number out there. I'm like, based off of what?
You just want to slander me.
No, it's not. Listen. Listen, you know why I'm slandering you? I didn't slander you earlier for how you were producing a podcast. Don't think I forgot about how I had to sit around and wait for you to produce a podcast this morning. I was just sitting around waiting for you, clipping my toenails. Exactly.
Doing nothing.
Waiting for my producer to produce a podcast. That's what I was waiting for. Okay. So anyways, there's that. Now, the other thing I want to touch on too is changing the thumbnails I'm gonna be doing going forward. Melissa brought up a very good idea that I came up with myself, and then I told her. She told me back the idea where so what happened is it would be a better idea. Man, I came up with this idea that I got from Melissa that I told her that she told me back. So if I change my thumbnails, probably the orange words that are there, to things that are mostly about my life update, because she feels like my life updates are more interesting than, I guess, the topics. So
no, it's not necessarily just that. I feel like you talk about the topics the life update for longer sometimes.
So she feel like I talk about the life update longer than the other stuff. So she think I should put that in there. And I think there's a lot of benefit to doing that. So I'm gonna try doing that for a little bit and see how the thumbnails come out. And I think even today, because of that, I was able to get an easier thumbnail. Number two, when I'm doing other thumbnails, I'm trying to come up with a thumbnail that's based off of the topic of the podcast as opposed to a life update topic. And I think it's easier if I have a life update topic because it's my life. I can just go and grab something from my life to depict what's going on for that week. So there's that. And as far as Donivan's questions go, again, like I said before, you guys know the deal. I be doing a lot of stuff, so it doesn't give me the time to sit down and think. When I was riding my bike as a bike messenger, I used to be able to just ponder and pontificate all the time. I'd be on my bike for 8-10 hours a day. All I'm doing is thinking. That's all I'm really doing. If I'm not, hey, here's your order. All right, have a great day. No worries. And I go around my bike. I'm like, I wonder what would happen if a black woman who's half Asian and half Spanish actually was dating another guy who was Mexican but was a Trump supporter. I wonder what would happen if they had a baby that went to a school with Kevin Hart, and then boom, I have a question. And it's like, I don't have time to think about that kind of shit right now. I don't have that kind of time to be trying to figure out all that. My brain is figuring out, how do I not get evicted? My brain is literally focused on not getting evicted. Oh, speaking of not getting evicted, we are going to, on Thursday, Thanksgiving is coming up. We will be going to my cousin's house in Maryland to celebrate Thanksgiving. And, you know, when we come back, we should be going full speed into wholesaling. Like, we in it now, obviously, but like, we're going up another notch. We're going up another notch because we don't have any other option other than wholesaling. So we have to make it work. That's literally it. Like, it has to work. We're going to make it work because that's it. Other than that, you know, like I said, I don't know what a relationship with Melissa looks like if we're both living at home and we're trying to do podcasts and food and fitness and sports and music and clothing and wholesaling. I don't know what that looks like. And I don't know what living at home looks like as far as my mental space where I'm going to be at. I don't know if I'm living in my mom's house. I'm going to go to my dad's house. It's a lot of stuff going on. So it's just, wholesaling has to work. Now, for what you guys all been waiting for, the topic at hand. Okay. Now, the topic I have today is how being insecure helps entertainers, right? Now, this is a topic that I have pontificated on, okay, for a very, very long time. Years, honestly, years. Since I started looking up, I guess, YouTube and things like that, right? So you're probably like, Donivan, what do you mean, like insecure entertainers? I don't understand. They have money. Why are they insecure? Like, they have women and people love them, and right? So, entertainers would cover pretty much, honestly, comedians, entertainers, actors and actresses, which is those ones right there. Like, musicians, honestly, maybe even artists, possibly as well. And artists, I mean, like, musically also, but I'm actually referring to people who draw and paint. Now, this is why I'm having these thoughts, right? So, some people may or may not be familiar with Queen Naija. Okay, she did an interview with The Breakfast Club the other day, right? And I think she's very insecure, right? Now you're probably like, Donivan, why would you think that? That's so wrong. You don't even know her, and I don't. Never met her in my life. Never seen her in my life. Don't know anything about her, except for what I see on social media by her. Now, I don't mean what she wants us to see. I mean the thing that she does not want us to see. So, for one, she has. Honestly, it's all I really need to see, to be completely honest. Once I seen this, I knew what was up. She has gotten butt implants. No, butt implants? Was it fat transfer? I don't. It was probably was fat transfer. Yeah, she got fat. She got a fat transfer in her butt, right? Because she wanted her butt to be bigger. Now, once I see that instantly tells me, and I think she got her tummy tucked or something too, because she was saying that she wanted to get that space removed. She couldn't get it removed, something like that, right? Now, honestly, I see Queen Naija as being very big, similar to Cardi B. Now, why do I say that? Because I feel like they fall in a very similar lane. Because anybody, in my opinion, wants to get their body done, one, does not love themselves, right? And now, people that don't love themselves look for that love from other people. And now, what job or what title of jobs do you know that seeks the love of other people? Entertainers. They love the praise of entertaining other people, They love people to say, "Oh my God, you're so great. I loved your movie. I loved your music." They love to be seen and looked at all the time because they feel like people either don't like them, they feel invisible, or they feel ugly. So they go, okay, if everybody's telling me I'm pretty, I must be pretty. Now, the problem is that you have to feel pretty even when people tell you you're not pretty. That's what really feeling pretty is like. Now, that's confident attractiveness, okay? Now, same thing I feel like with Kevin Hart. Beyonce and Jay-Z. So my situation with Jay-Z is this, right? I also believe that any guy that cheats on his woman is insecure. Because if you are a real man, then you can just say, hey, listen, I'm about to go fuck Sally down the block, right? And that sounds crazy. No guy would do that. Well, listen, guys do that all the time. Okay, and girls go, all right, sure, or don't tell me anymore. If you want to do it, just don't tell me. and it is what it is, right? And I think that that's a very noble way of doing it, only because I'm being honest with you. I'm giving you the opportunity to say, you know what, Donivan, I don't really like that. I don't want to be with you no more if you want to fuck her. And at least I'm being upfront with you. I'm telling you. But for me to sneak around and then go fuck somebody else is because I'm afraid of what will happen if you find out about it. And to me, that's not very noble, in my opinion. So I'm like, and it's not very confident either. When I see a lot of entertainers start to cheat on their wife and whatever, celebrities, honestly, pastors are in the same situation of being, like, think about it. Any job that you look for, politicians are the same thing. These are all entertainers, and they all just seem to be very, more or less, insecure, fucked up people. And it all ties into the same thing. I think that it's easier for insecure people to be entertainers because they strive so hard to be seen by everybody else. And I think that's why a lot of people who are confident, who I believe are genuinely confident, don't go into the field of entertainment. And it's a weird situation for me because I now it's the kind of content I make is not meant to be entertaining necessarily. It's my personality, but I don't look for the validation of other people. So when I put out content, when I put out videos, I put out things like that, I'm most looking to inform other people. And then also show them how I'm doing it. And if they want to do it, they can do it the same way. Doing this, I can see how striving for other people's affection or striving for their validation could lead down a path of, I guess, increased insecurity. Because now what will happen is this, right? Let's say I'm on YouTube and I'm like, okay, who's getting views on YouTube right now? Okay, this person right here, what is he doing on YouTube? Okay, he's acting a fool on YouTube. Okay, he's running out on the street. He's taking his clothes off. He's screaming and yelling. And in my opinion, if I'm like, I'm too relaxed for that. That's not really my thing. And I feel like a confident person usually is more relaxed. You're not bothered by too many things because you're like, okay, this person likes me, that's fine. They don't like me, that's fine too. I failed at this, that's fine. I'm gonna try it again. Or I did this, I did this thing. I'm not great, but I did it. That's fine. You're kind of like, listen, it is what it is. You're in the middle. I believe that's where confident people fall. So they're not striving too hard to be seen or not be seen. They're just kind of like, I'm doing what I'm doing. If you see me, you do. And if you don't, you don't. And if I'm better than you at something and you try to confront me on it, then I might have to, show you that you ain't shit. Now, another thing too, like I brought up comedians because I've heard stories about how fucked up a lot of comedians are, and fucked up in the sense of emotionally. And it makes sense because you're going on stage trying to make people laugh. And the thing that I don't think a lot of people know about comedy is very similar to public speaking. It's a power grab that people want. It's people who are hungry for power become comedians because you have a control over a whole room. You get to choose when people are laughing. You choose when people are quiet. You make them wait. That's why heckling people, that is why comedians don't like heckling, because when you heckle, you take away the power from the comedian when you're heckling them. If they can't get you in control with whatever they're saying, then now you as a heckler have control of that room. And there are different spots in stand-up, and by spots I mean locations where they do stand-up, where they don't want to be in those rooms because all the attention is not on them, and they can't bring the room to focus on them. So if you're at let's say like a casino or something. They hate casino rooms. They hate being at rooms where everybody's focused on something else. And this is what I was saying before, where it's like, what kind of people would gravitate to those industries? And I feel like it's very insecure people that would gravitate to entertainment. Like I said, I feel like Kevin Hart is very insecure. I mean, he's 5'4". Growing up, dark skin was probably a problem for him. Queen Naija, she's kind of short, but I mean, they used to call her ugly back in the day. I don't know what they call her now. She has butt implants, and it's kind of like the kind of people I feel like that I see on social media that are doing well are usually the people that tend to be going through so much different issues emotionally and mentally. It's like, yeah, they have money. Yeah, they're doing well at their job, but it seems like their life is usually always fucked up. And I feel like that's because insecurity comes out outside of their work. There's actually a couple on YouTube that I like them. I haven't watched their videos in a while. What's her name? Bronny? Yeah, Bronny, and I forgot her boyfriend's name. They're cool. I fuck with them. I like them. It's still too early to tell, but she just does kind of clothing hauls, which is when she tries different clothes. She's a fashion person, so she does that. So like I said, I just really think that if you look for it, you're gonna find it very often that a lot of entertainers usually have some type of striking insecurity about their life that permeates into the rest of whatever they're doing. They get to be somebody else on camera. And I think that they should do, I'm curious what a study would look like on this. If people were to somehow come up with a test for actors and actresses, because I really believe that for you to have to pretend to be somebody else, that's gonna fuck with you mentally, right? Now here's my reason why. If you put yourself right now in a fetal position, right, you're going to feel bad. If you put yourself in what they call a power position, which is maybe your arms up or your hands on your waist like Superman or things like that, you're gonna feel better, right? They say that you don't smile because you're happy because you smile, which means that if you actually make the muscles in your face into a smile, you feel better. Your brain automatically feels better, right? So what does that say about a person who's in a role, who is playing somebody else all the time? Your life revolves around you being somebody that you're not. You go to work to be somebody that you're not. You go on interviews to be somebody that you're not. Everywhere you go, you're being somebody that you're not. So that's going to have an effect on you. You're going to either forget exactly who you are, because it's going to now meld the two things between who you are, who your personality is, and who you are in real life. There was an interview that Will Smith had where he confirmed exactly what I'm talking about, where he felt like he didn't know how to be himself anymore. He didn't even know who he was anymore because he was being Will Smith all the time. That's who he was. Everywhere he goes, he had to be Will Smith. And we already know that his home life was going through all types of craziness because he felt like he had to just be Will Smith all the time. So now at his, I think he's in his late 40s, maybe early 50s, he's now realized, okay, now I have to be myself. I have to be me. Actors and actresses, I really believe, have some type of mental gymnastics that they have to go through to be in those roles. If you think about somebody like the Batman, the Joker in the Batman, I think it was Keith Ledger. If you have to take yourself and put yourself in dark places just to do a role, what is that doing to you mentally? What is that doing to you psychologically? Like, what is that doing to you on an emotional level where you are now trying to force your body to believe something that isn't true, which is that you're unhappy, you're sad, you're depressed. Things like that are going to affect you. And people who are in the entertainment business, they get to do that. So a lot of people might actually want to do that. Like, a lot of people might go out and say, I want to be somebody else. I want to be the very best that no one, like, imagine, like, you go outside every day and you're like, I'm in the house, I ain't shit around my wife, I ain't shit around my children, but when I go outside on TV, I get to be that dude. I get to be, Squidward when he was attractive. Like, you get to go outside and you get to be somebody else that you're actually not. But at the end of the day, you know you're not that person. Your family knows you're not that person. Everybody around you knows you are not that kind of person. And like I said, it's only kind of people that would want to do something like that are insecure people. I do not go out anywhere in my life and go, I'm going to go there and be somebody else. Like, I'm going to go into a situation that I'm not in, wherever I'm going to, and I want to be like a person. I want to be today I feel like being a loud gangster. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try and impress everybody. And then I'm going to come back, you know what? Now I want to be, I don't know, a scientist. So I'm going to start acting like I'm a scientist. It's just that I really believe that there's going to be an issue with a person doing that psychologically, and it's going to affect their day-to-day life with their relationship with their family, with their friends, and, with their significant other. Oh, if you have a topic you want me to discuss, or you want to get on the phone and have a conversation with me, you can DM me on Instagram, the Bamboo Project _podcast. We are welcoming guests. We shoot between 10 and 12 on Tuesdays. And if you haven't already, go check out our social medias. Mine is DonivanGray. My amazing girlfriend is AnetaBurn, AnetaBurn. We have multiple different projects. We have the food project. We have the clothing project. We have the music project. We have the fitness project. We have the sports project. And we have the Bamboo Project podcast. Bamboo Project out.